There's a cruise line out there that has a lot of people talking.
So why do you think it is that Norwegian's getting all this attention and people are really starting to look at cruising them for the first time or once again?
Well, if I look back at our recent experience, we just had phenomenal time on board, and that was because the staff was awesome. The food was amazing. The choices in the main dining room had definitely expanded from when we were there before. So all these little things, they seem to be just doing well. They're, the decor is nice. Their entertainment has been phenomenal. We just really appreciated all the little things they've been doing.
So Norwegian Cruise Line has 17 ships currently sailing for its fleet. 16 of those are their ships that range from 2,000 to 4,000 people. They have a nice mix of smaller ships that are quieter and larger, what we call mega ships. But what's changing the game is the new ship, which is Norwegian Prima. Mm-hmm. This ship is right in the middle. This is very unusual for cruise lines. Usually most of the cruise lines are getting bigger with every class of ship. Norwegian has gone from 2,000 to 4,000 back to 3,000 passengers roughly for the Prima. Mm-hmm. And that's the same for the next one that's coming out, which is the Viva.
Right.
So Norwegian's kind of changing the game on size of ships. And that's really had our attention, even from back when we last were on a Norwegian ship and heard an announcement about this years ago.
That's right.
And now we're seeing it actually happen, and we're seeing the response from the cruise community, which is really interesting. When you can choose the size of ship you want in one single cruise line, that gives you lots of options. So you're not stuck with having to have mega ships. You can have a smaller ship. And then on top of that, now you can have a new cruise ship that's not going to have to be a mega ship. That's something brand new that we haven't seen. So that's a nice sweet spot that they're starting to slide into now. I also think that while other cruise ships are changing some of the things that people have always loved about them, Norwegian is actually enhancing those, like you said. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the dining room now, you've got still beautiful paper menus with lots of options. You've got tablecloths. Our recent cruise experience on the Epic, there was a dance floor with a live band playing in the main dining room. It was phenomenal.
Lovely,
So they're kind of elevating that experience.
Yeah, it's becoming a classier experience, I think, than when we first started cruising with them.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're evolving from that traditional cruise line into a premium right before our eyes.
Yeah, for sure. We felt that way for sure between our experience on the last one.
Yeah, our experience on Norwegian recently was very similar to what we would find on a Princess or Holland America cruise.
Yeah, I would agree with you with that for sure.
And the entertainment, they are innovative. They're going above and beyond with them. You know, they've got stuff like the Cavern Club with classic Beatles music. They've got theater shows that are just top notch, very fantastic Broadway shows if you like that type of thing.
Right, and they brought in guest solo artists on our voyage. That was phenomenal. Blew your mind away.
Recent reviews on the Prima have been very, very positive.
Yes.
I don't know if I've heard a bad word about it, in fact, so far.
It's getting a lot rave reviews for sure. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, all the way over in Europe, and it came across recently, and now it's sailing out of North America, and everything's been positive, which is a really good sign for Norwegian.
Yeah.
Norwegian also has a couple interesting features in North America. They have 2 private islands.
Yes.
Yeah, which is Great Stirrup Cay.
That's in the Bahamas.
And we have Harvest Cay, which is in Belize.
Right.
And both of those are beautiful facilities as well that also have rave reviews from passengers over the years. Mm-hmm.
So Norwegian sort of started a trend years ago with their freestyle dining, where you didn't have to have a set dining time. You can go to a dining room and get served a meal whenever you chose.
Which was kind of interesting, and we always like having the same waiter, the main dining room every night, so that was kind of a little, adjustment for us.
It was, but you know what? The plus side of that is there's been times when we've come back late from an excursion and we've missed our set dining time. That doesn't happen on a Norwegian ship. If you normally have dinner at 6 p.m., but one night you don't get back on board till 6:30 or 6:45, you can still go to the main dining room and have that wonderful meal, as opposed to having to go to a buffet restaurant that I don't usually want to do.
Yeah, and our main dining room experience was so good on the Epic that we could have ate there every single night. Yeah. But the nice thing about Norwegian is you don't have to. You have multiple different venues. You can have either you can have a free dinner somewhere else, or you can have specialty dining where it's a paid option as well.
Right.
And they've always been known for having really good specialty dining, and that's still in place as well.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, one of the best meals we've ever had at sea, we just had on the Norwegian Epic a little while ago at their French restaurant. It was phenomenal.
yeah, probably the best specialty dining experience of our life was at the French restaurant at Le Bistro on board
Yeah, there.
on the Norwegian Epic just recently.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Norwegian's really changing the game. All these little things, they're all just small things compared to the cruise lines, but when you add them all up and they're all moving in the right direction, that really is what has a lot of people's attention, including ours.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say years ago we had looked at Norwegian, we tried it, we thought it's okay, but we weren't in a hurry to get back to them after our Epic experience. And now hearing more about the Prima, I think we're like everyone else. We're starting to think that we need to give this a try, more so.
We want to get on a Norwegian ship, for
Yeah,
sure.
we've been pricing out the Viva, even as it's coming out in the future, trying to think, do we want to get on that ship? And, yeah, so, and I don't know if there's a cruise line out there that's generating that much buzz right now.
Well, it's really nice for me personally. I don't like the idea of being on a ship that holds 6,000, 7,000 people, which some of the new ships do. So the idea that I can get on a brand new ship that only has around 3,000 people, that's great, because I would like to have the new ship experience, but not the 7,000 people with me.
Yeah,
So.
and you're getting a smaller ship experience, but you're getting a quality experience like on a premium cruise line.
There's a few other trends they've started too.
Yeah, and that is the option to include different perks with your basic cruise fare. Norwegian started having the Pick 4 originally, and Pick 3 and Pick 5, but basically they allow you to choose your own type of package, whether you want the drink package and the specialty dining and the internet, or have it include everything in that one big package, which was the first cruise line to do that many years ago.
Yeah.
And now other cruise lines are following suit as well.
Yeah, I think they started a trend.
Yes, and that's been going for years now, and now they seem to be the leaders in that. Norwegian cruise ships have always had fantastic decor.
Yes, they've always been pretty. We haven't been on one where we thought was, the atmosphere, the setup of it wasn't lovely, for sure.
Yeah, the decor is classy. It's not over the top. It feels like you're being pampered. It's a wonderful experience. Whether you're in a dining venue, walking through the ship, sitting in an atrium, or just enjoying a drink, or at the theater, it's a wonderful experience to be on a Norwegian ship. It's a first class experience. Typically, people don't consider it to be one of the premier lines. A lot of times, I would compare the decor of Norwegian to be much like we've seen on premier cruise lines.
For sure, I would agree with you. The only thing I would say to add to that is that the decor in the ship is top notch, but their cabins generally tend to be on a little bit on the smaller size in comparison to other premier line cruises. So that might be where the difference is, but maybe they've changed that too with their new ones that they've come out with.
Yeah, definitely. There was a trend from the older Norwegian ships to the newer ships where the cabin sizes seem to get smaller. Most noticeably, I find, was in the inside cabins.
Interior cabins were the smallest the smallest room we've ever had would be an interior on a Norwegian cruise.
Yeah,
sure.
it's tough sometimes even just to get around the bed of an interior cabin in Norwegian, where other premier cruise lines, you may even get a couch. So that's a big difference in the size of an interior cabin.
So the demographic of people on Norwegian cruise lines seems to be of a larger range too. There's anywhere from families to young traveling couples in their 20s and 30s to, established, more elderly people too. So they do have they cater to a range of passengers.
Yeah, we have adult children, and of some of which would insist that Norwegian is their first cruise line of choice, which really caught our attention years ago because we did not raise them on Norwegian cruises, but they kind of fell into it on a good deal. They tried it for the first time and they fell in love with Norwegian. So it seems that the younger demographic is definitely enjoying what Norwegian has to offer.
And I mean, they're catering to us too. We're in a totally different cruising, travel, vacation mode than what our 20-something-year-old children are, yet we had probably one of the best vacations we've ever had was just on our last recent Norwegian cruise. One other thing I thought Norwegian did really well on our last recent cruise with them was our tendering process. So when you cruise a lot, sometimes when you find out you've got a tender, it's like, oh, do I even want to get off the ship? Because sometimes that can be a lengthy, unorganized process. But with Norwegian, we got on the ship that day. They had a a box office ticket area where you can make reservations for their shows in the main theater, but they also use that spot for you to reserve your time that you would like to get tendered to whatever ports that you need to be tendered at. So for day 1 of our cruise, I already had it all arranged for when we were coming up on day 4 or something like that, where we had to have a tender. We had no waiting in lines. We just went down and disembarked on the time that our ticket told us to. It was seamless, it was easy. It just made that morning and that whole experience so joyful and like pleasant, as opposed to being frustrated waiting in long lines to get off a ship.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, for sure. By far the best experience with tendering. You know, you're not getting into a lounge first thing in the morning desperately to try to get a ticket, or you're not trying to get in big long lines through the hallways to be first on the tenders, and you're not having to use loyalty programs to get to the front of the line.
Right.
You just go, you get a ticket for when you want to get off that meets your excursion needs or your plans for the day, and there you go. So I think that's a fantastic improvement from Norwegian.
Yeah, keep that up.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons that Norwegian is getting the attention that they're getting, and I think it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are definitely looking to book another Norwegian cruise as soon as we can fit into our schedule. And I know a lot of other people are looking at the same options. So, you know, well done, Norwegian. At a time when we were starting to think that we were always going to be on kind of older, smaller ships because of the way the business was going, Norwegian changed the game, and we're really happy about that.
Yeah, it was definitely a game changer for us. We're looking forward to trying out their newer, more moderately sized ships, is what I would say. They're not small, but they're not enormous like some are out there. So I don't know, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Have you tried Norwegian? Would you be willing to try Norwegian? I think they're worth taking a second look at, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. If you haven't done them yet, I think you might be surprised, much like we were in our recent Norwegian Epic cruise. So thanks for watching, everybody, and following along, we do have the Norwegian Epic vlog series that's already out, and when we get on the next Norwegian cruise, we'll be vlogging that one as well to show you day by day on a Norwegian ship.
For sure.
So take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.